there's a new bill being debated in India, and, well, it's causing a major stir. It's the income tax bill of 2025, and it's forcing this really urgent conversation about a line that every country is struggling with, the line between national security and our own personal digital privacy. So let me just ask you this. Think for a second about your emails, your WhatsApp chats, your Instagram DMs, everything you've got saved in the cloud. How would you feel if someone could get access to all of it? That's really the core question we're going to dive into here. So what is this bill exactly? Well, at its heart, it's an attempt to take a law from 1961, the era of paper files and rotary phones, and drag it kicking and screaming into the 21st century. The official goal is just to update the tax code for a world that's gone completely digital. But as they say, the devil's in the details. And the one detail that's got everyone talking comes down to a single clause. It's a clause that gives tax authorities some pretty sweeping new powers. Powers that a lot of people are calling totally unprecedented in a democracy. So what can they actually do? Well, the powers being proposed here are huge. We're talking about giving authorities access to your email servers, your social media accounts, your online banking, your trading platforms, even your private cloud storage. And here's the kicker. The law would give them the power to override your passwords and even bypass encryption to get that data. But this is the part that's setting off the biggest alarms. What's the condition for using these incredible powers? It's not a warrant, it's not a judge's order, it's just mere suspicion of tax evasion. That's it. That incredibly low bar is really at the center of this whole debate. Okay, so you're probably thinking, why on earth would a government propose something so powerful? Well, the official justification is pretty straightforward. You need modern tools to fight modern financial crimes. And the government is pointing to what it calls proof that this works. They say that by using the digital tools they already have, they've uncovered 250 crore rupees, that's about $30 million US, in hidden income just from crypto alone. So for them, this is Exhibit A. India's Finance Minister, NirmalaSitharaman, put it very bluntly. She said, the digital age demands updated tools to combat financial crimes. The thinking is simple, right? As criminals get more sophisticated and high-tech, the agencies trying to stop them have to keep up. So, from the government's perspective, this isn't some brand new intrusion. They argue it's just a modernization. It's like saying, look, we've always had the authority to search your physical filing cabinet. Today, your filing cabinet is a server in the cloud, so we just need the ability to search that. But as you can probably guess, not everyone is buying that argument. Critics have raised some really serious alarms, and they basically boil down to four main concerns. The case against the bill really stands on four pillars. First, a fundamental erosion of our digital privacy. Second, the very real risk of political misuse. Third, a justification that critics call weak. And fourth, a potential threat to freedom of speech. Let's quickly walk through each one. First up, privacy. Opponents argue that privacy isn't some privilege that the government can just grant or take away when it feels like it. It's supposed to be a fundamental right. They're worried this law turns that right into something that's conditional on what the government thinks, and that's a really dangerous precedent. The second big fear is political misuse. Critics are quick to point out that government agencies have been accused of being used to target political opponents in the past. The fear is that a powerful tool like this, with almost no oversight, could easily become a political weapon, a way to go after critics and dissenters under the very convenient excuse of a tax investigation. And that whole idea of oversight brings us to a really important question. How do these proposed powers actually compare to similar laws in other major democracies? Is this normal? And when you put them side by side, the difference is pretty stark. While other democracies do have agencies with similar powers, getting access almost always requires strict legal checks, like a judicial warrant, and a really high bar for evidence. India's proposed mere suspicion standard, with no judge needing to sign off, is a major departure from that. The last major concern is about something called the chilling effect. The idea is simple. If people even think that their private messages might be monitored, they'll start to censor themselves. That hesitation to criticize the government or even just discuss sensitive topics could, over time, seriously damage the free exchange of ideas that a democracy really needs to function. So where does that leave us? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental balancing act, a classic tug of war between two really important and often competing values. On one side, you have the government, which sees this as a totally necessary tool. It's a modernization of old laws, and they believe it's already proven to be effective. But on the other side, you have the critics. They see a dangerous precedent for privacy, a potential political weapon, and a massive overreach of state power without any of the necessary checks and balances. And in the end, this whole massive debate really just boils down to one single question. In our new digital age, every society on Earth has to figure out where to draw the line between security and privacy. The question for India, and really for all of us, is whether this bill draws that line in the right place.